I want you to picture something for a second. Imagine a structure, maybe the size of a football field, and it's filled absolutely to the brim with millions of gallons of super flammable liquid. Now, imagine that catches fire. The heat would be unbelievable, the danger just catastrophic. So how on earth do we even begin to fight a fire on that kind of epic scale? That's the big question, right? It's this incredibly high-stakes problem that engineers have spent decades just perfecting a solution for. And it's not about a bunch of brave firefighters with a hose. It's about a system designed with unbelievable precision to stop a disaster before it can even really get started. And the answer? Well, it's not some single magical piece of equipment. No, it's a blueprint, a really detailed set of rules that are designed to prepare for the absolute worst-case scenario. So let's dive in. Here it is. This document right here is our guide. Now, I know it might look a little dry, but this standard, SAES-B-018, is basically a masterclass in industrial safety. Think of it like a script for a perfectly executed response, written way, way before any fire could ever break out. And today, we're going to deconstruct it. Okay, so to really get the solution, we first need to speak the language. We've got to get to know the key players in this high-stakes drama. So, the hero of our story is foam. But listen, this is not the stuff you find in a bubble bath. This is a very carefully engineered substance. You mix water, a special liquid concentrate, and air, and you get this stable blanket of bubbles. And it's designed to do one thing and one thing only: smother a fire by completely cutting off its oxygen supply. But before you get that finished foam, you have this stuff, the foam solution. The easiest way to think about it is like a just add air mix. It's mostly water, right? But with a small and absolutely critical percentage of that concentrate, all pre-mixed and ready to be whipped into action at a moment's notice. And this is where the trouble starts. This is the seal area. You see, a lot of these giant tanks have a roof that actually floats on top of the liquid inside. And that tiny little gap, right between the edge of that floating roof and the tank wall, that is the most vulnerable point. It's where vapors can escape and where a fire is most likely to ignite. This is our target.
Now, here's the thing. Not all tanks are built the same, so the rules for protecting them have to be able to adapt. It turns out the design of the roof, well, it changes everything.
And what's really interesting here is how this blueprint forces us to focus. For your standard fixed roof tanks, or even the ones with an internal floating roof, a foam system isn't required, but for that open-top floating roof design, oh yeah, it is absolutely mandatory, because that's where the greatest risk is, and that's where this safety system is most critical. So for these massive open-top tanks, how in the world does the system actually deliver the foam to that very precise, very vulnerable seal area, hundreds of feet up in the air? Let's take a look. This whole complex system really just boils down to two simple goals. First, you've got a logistics problem. How do you get the foam solution from the ground all the way to the top of a very, very tall tank? And second, you've got an application problem. How do you turn it into foam and put it exactly where it needs to go? And this is how it works. To get the solution up the side of the tank, you've got pipes called risers. Think of them like express elevators for liquid. Then, to actually put out the fire, you have foam chambers, where the solution gets mixed with air. Deflectors act like special nozzles to aim it perfectly. And then these crucial foam dams work like guardrails, keeping that foam blanket right in that vulnerable seal area. And of course, as the tanks get bigger, the system has to scale up with, military precision. For tanks over 125 feet across, you can't just have one foam outlet. It's not going to cut it. The standard demands a whole ring of them, spaced no more than 80 feet apart. And this isn't just a suggestion, it's a strict geometric rule to guarantee total overlapping coverage of that entire seal area. Okay, so designing a system on paper is one thing, but proving it's actually going to perform under pressure, that's a whole other ballgame. And this standard is absolutely unbelievably rigorous when it comes to testing. The test itself is this carefully choreographed event. You don't do it on an empty tank. Nope, it's done during the very first time the tank is ever filled, with water for structural testing. The roof has to be floating at a really specific height, the pressure has to be exact, and then the clock starts. And everything, I mean everything, comes down to this number, 10. From the second that foam starts flowing, this system has exactly 10 minutes to completely cover every single square inch of that vulnerable seal area, all the way around the tank, no gaps allowed. It's literally a race against a fire that hasn't even started yet, and the system has to win. Every single time.
Okay, now check this out. This is my favorite part. Look at the foresight in this little note from the document. They specified doing the test during that initial water fill. And why? To avoid contaminating the actual product, the oil or the fuel, with foam later on. I mean, think about that. They're not just planning how to fight the fire, they're planning how to test the firefighting system without wasting a single drop of product. That is just an incredible level of detail.
And really, that's the big takeaway here, isn't it? The spacing of the pipes, the design of the deflectors, the testing pressure, that 10-minute deadline. It's the combination of hundreds of these small, meticulously planned details that creates a system robust enough to protect these massive, vital pieces of our infrastructure. It really makes you wonder. This is just one example. From the building you're in right now to the car you drive, our entire world is built on these invisible blueprints, these complex systems of rules and engineering, all designed to quietly and constantly keep us safe. What other ones are out there, hiding in plain sight?
If you enjoyed this, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel, How to Do It. Search for us at How to Do 5 for even more interesting content.